How I feel? Left. What I want?
Get back slow. I love the way she rockin' it. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's no beginner. She's confident. I love the way she move it.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We enter the Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with a video where we're going to be talking about the Washington Commanders trading some players at the trade deadline. More specifically, Montez, Sweat, and Chase Young. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 7,000 subscribers. Please hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Thank you so much. But let's get straight into today's video. Alright, I ain't gonna waste no time. Alright, I'm gonna give it to you straight how I feel at this moment. At this very moment, the Washington Commanders sit at 3-5. Blow it up, trade everybody. Trade everybody. The only people that is off limits, Terry, Sam, Duran, and who else? I mean, Cam Curl, K4, like who else? Who else? Like honestly, you can. If you decide to trade all these dudes, I'm not gonna be mad at all at this point. But more specifically, we came into yesterday's game saying who we trading: Chase Young or Montez Sweat. Trade both of them. At this point, trade both. Neither one of them did jack squat yesterday. Every time Chase Young comes off of a good game versus a subpar left tackle, anytime he played some type of competition or some type of talent, he gets boxed. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I saw Chase Young getting pushed up the field yesterday by Jordan Mailata. Every time they play talent, they get boxed. Trade both of them. Trade both of them. Because Chase Young is not going to be able to be good here unless we get new coaching. New coaching. He's not. And even that's not going to be a guarantee. But under this regime, he's not going to be good. And is he really worth? What is he worth at this moment? I saw people saying Max Crosby. I don't even know if he's worth a Max Crosby kind of deal. Do you franchise tag Chase Young next year if you want to bring him back under new regime? Because more likely than not, it will be a new regime. I don't know. At this point, you could trade both Chase Young and Montez Sweat and get you a second or third round pick. And at this point, I'm like, dude. I see Casey Toohill over here playing harder than both of them. Man, for the rest of the season, just put Casey Toohill and F.A. Obata out there. I'm pretty sure it ain't going to make no difference. Only thing we're going to look at is names and say, oh, if Chase Young was right there, it would be different. But in reality, it's not. Because anytime they both right there, nothing happens. I feel like this coaching staff has failed both Montez Sweat and Chase Young. And I feel like they both just not that good. Like, they're solid. Like, Montez Sweat, to me, has an opportunity to have a Preston Smith kind of leap. Where he was pretty much average here, 7.5, 5, 6, whatever in a year. He wouldn't surprise me as a guy go to a new team and get 13.5 the following year under new coaching. He's a guy like that. Chase Young, on the other hand, I just think Chase Young don't got no moves. Like, he doesn't try to do anything different. He just rushes straight and hopes for the best. And he gets pushed out of the play every time. Same thing we've been arguing with since 2020. He's been doing the same thing every time. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm like, look, we know what Chase Young is right now. The league still thinks highly of him as if he's like just a TJ Watt, Myles Garrett kind of player. So I'm pretty sure you can get him up out of here for a second or third. Same with Tez. Now, more likely than not, they're going to ship Montez Sweat out of here tomorrow by 4 p.m. and Chase Young is going to be here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe Chase Young turns to something special, but I highly doubt that. Another guy, Jacoby Brissett. The Vikings just lost Kirk Cousins for the rest of the year, man. And that sucks. I love Kirk Cousins here in Washington, okay? And he's a guy that is always disrespected. I mean, he's always good. Like, I understand playoff, big moments, he tends to choke or whatever. But he's always good. And they're going to finally realize how good they had it with Kirk Cousins. Because now they no longer have him they need to get on the phone and trade for Jacoby Brissett. If I'm Washington, I'm not waiting for the Vikings to trade call me for Jacoby Brissett. I'm like, hey, look, I got Jacoby for you. And I would potentially try to fleece the Vikings. So right now they're desperate. If they don't get Jacoby Brissett, who are they gonna have? Who they gonna throw out there? Nick Mullins on IR. They other quarterback trash. I'm not saying Jacoby Brissett is good, but they were just getting their season back. Literally, just getting their season back. They got back to 500, and they were looking to not only get into this wild card race, but potentially compete in the NFC North. But now Kirk Cousins is out. You done. Jacoby Brissett your best bet, and I think Jacoby Brissett, he can come in there and potentially stay afloat. But the thing is, when you have Jacoby Brissett on your team, you need him to surround him with a lot of talent. They have good wide receivers, but they don't have no run game. The offensive line is mediocre, so he can struggle. But again, it's better than nothing. So if I'm Minnesota, I'm calling Washington immediately. Okay, like look, I got Jacoby Brissett. Oh, I want Jacoby Brissett. If I'm Washington, I'm like, look, give me a fourth. Knowing in actuality, I would rather take a fifth. I mean, I would love to take a fourth if they're willing to bite on it, but knowing that they're not, that's what I'm going in with. I'm going to, hey, give me a fourth. They're like, nah, I can't do that. Give me a 5. Cool, that's a deal because that's what I really wanted. But, you know, when you go in with a negotiation, you can't give out what you really want. You got to start high, and so they can work down to what you actually want. You feel me? It's a negotiation tactic. All right? So, that's what I would do. But, honestly, like yesterday, it kind of like just made me realize, like, yeah, we're not gonna win anything under this tutelage, bro. So we might as well just get everything we can get. I'm even to the point where I'm like, look, Jonathan Allen can even go. Like, J.A. is a face of this franchise. Anytime we have a public like appearance or something, and we need a talking head, we stick out there Jonathan Allen. But J.A. he's okay. I'm not gonna say Jonathan Allen is trash. I'm not gonna say that at all. But he's not a Daron Payne. Daron Payne is a dog. Okay. J.A. hasn't had a play in like 3 weeks, bro. And again, he's another guy where the league thinks highly of him, rightfully so. Where I'm to the point where I'm like, hey, look, what can we get for J.A.? I know we can get something for J.A. because J.A. is good. And Jonathan Allen's tired of losing, man. I don't know how true that report is. I don't think Jonathan Allen's that kind of guy, but you never know. He's coming from Alabama. He doesn't want to be around for another rebuild/reload potentially, bro. He wants to compete for championships. So for him to ask to be out, I wouldn't be surprised if we get to that point with Jonathan Allen. And right now, your season's pretty much done. So I would do that. I would look to see what we can get for Jonathan Allen. I'm pretty sure there's a team right there out there, you know, in the mix of it, that can use an interior defensive lineman like Jonathan Allen. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, we paid Jonathan Allen a couple years ago. Again, he's the face of the franchise, really one of the talking heads. So we probably won't trade him. But again, it wouldn't surprise me, man. We got a lot of things we could offload. You know what I'm saying? That other teams can really use it. We could just stock up on picks for the next regime. That's what I would do. But knowing this team, okay, we're going to just be sitting duck, probably trade Montez Sweat, that's it, and then not make any moves, you know, as far as offloading the rest of these players that can be used elsewhere. Because the truth of the matter is, bro, honestly, as Ron Rivera, I just say, even though I hate quoting him, they're thinking they're not giving up on the season, okay? Because they're sitting at 3-4, or 3-5 rather. And the NFC wild card picture is wide open, you know, and that's what hurts about it, is because this season is not even over, but it's like it's the way we lose that just defeats you. You know what I'm saying? Washington was up 14-3 yesterday. There's no reason they should have lost that game. On the verge of going up 21-3 after that 4th-and-1 game play call, the game was never the same, man. It was never the same, and we just wasted a master class from Sam Howell. Yeah, I know Sam Howell made a mistake late, but he came back on the field. He came back on the field and he tried to get a drive going, and our wide receivers didn't help him. But my man threw for nearly 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, what else do you want from him? Defense was non-existent the whole game. Yeah, they made two turnovers, but let's not act like those 2 turnovers came, you know, in good field position. It came on the verge of the Eagles scoring. You know what I'm saying? So defense was pitiful yesterday. And I'm to the point where, again, you can offload some of these guys on the defense. You can get some things for this defensive line. This vaunted defensive line that they keep saying, it's not vaunted. It hasn't been vaunted since 2020. This joint is trash. They suck. Only person that's good is Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. Only. Like, I'm to the point where, and even J.A. is inconsistent, bro. Daron is my only guy on that D-line. Casey Toohill is outplaying our first-round picks, man. Especially our second overall pick. So, again, you got some guys you can offload. And I think they need to take a serious look at that. Ron Rivera is not going to be here next year. So, I don't know if if that's going to make him want to do it, or if that's going to make him more stubborn to not do it. Because he's like, I don't want to give this next regime picks. I don't know. Ron is he's just defeated, man. I mean, he's just defeated. I mean, the fact that Nick Sirianni and his team is running down the field because they don't know if Devonta Smith caught the ball or not. You're just standing there. If I'm a head coach, I'm paying attention. He said, oh, I didn't see the replay. If I'm a head coach and I don't call offense, I don't call defense, I don't motivate the team, what do? I'm literally going to pay attention to everything so I don't miss nothing. If I see a team running down the field, I'm immediately stopping that play, either throwing my challenge flag or calling a timeout. Because if you call a timeout, that's going to allow the refs to still look at the play, but you allow them to just run down the field. That drive ended in a touchdown, I think. So that's a touchdown that they shouldn't have had. That was a clear drop, but then you turn around and the Jahan Dawson one was incomplete. Like, come on, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But, hey, I just want to come on here quickly this morning to talk about that. Honestly, but blow it up. Trade everybody. Outside of Sam, Terry, Duran, Cam Curl, Kendall Fuller. Like, honestly, I'm not trolling, because I mean I wouldn't be mad if they do it, but obviously they're not gonna trade everybody. But the main guys that they should trade: Chase, Montez, both of them. Okay, I would potentially look to move one of these defensive tackles, but potentially Jonathan Allen. I don't want to say one of them, because that means Deron Payne's in that discussion. He's not. Jonathan Allen. Like, again, there's nobody on this team outside of those guys that I named that I would not look to move. Jacoby Brissett. Like, you got a chance to get something for a guy that you only got to a 1-year deal. That ain't gonna cost you nothing, right? I would look at moving one of these potentially Antonio Gibson. But Antonio Gibson can't help a team that's going to be on a late playoff run right now. Like, just because we minimize Antonio Gibson's role on this team doesn't mean that a team like Kansas City would not maximize him. Could you imagine Antonio Gibson in Kansas City? He would probably just be your wide receiver at that point. Like, it's so many pieces on this team that we could move and get draft capital. I mean, we could walk into next year's draft. I don't know if there's a limit on draft picks you can have, but we could walk into next year's draft class if we do this trade deadline right with like 9-10 picks, and we could be loaded for the next regime, for the next GM head coach. But again, it's all if Ron Rivera is going to pull the trigger or not, and who knows? He probably not, and we're probably going to stand pat here and continue with the same old roster. But I just want to come on here to spill out that to you guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. How do you feel about the trade deadline? Do you think Washington needs to offload some of these guys, or would you just stand pat, or do you not even care anymore? Let me know y'all feelings and thoughts down below in the comment section. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe. Hail to the Washington Commanders. See y'all later. I'm out. Peace.